right, this is
Your knee brace, sir.
I don't
Yep.
have.
Is that your knee brace?
That's our new bell ringer thing.
No. He just approves whatever anyway.
I don't need that.
Look, I'm easy to get along with. Look, I trust Paul totally.
All right, well, I've got extra copies.
All right.
The New York Fed doesn't spend as much time on their.
They do. They do.
David Cavalier is on.
All right.
Hi, David.
Hi, David. Hi, Dave.
Hey, everybody. Good morning.
Morning.
Ready to do the finance report.
Are you trying to share? I think I gave you permission to share.
I don't want to join the computer audio, though, do I?
Yeah, you do.
All right, so
Hi, Jim.
Turn your volume down, though. Turn your speaker off.
my volume down now. What
Turn your volume all the way off.
it is, but how do I turn the speak?
The speakers at the top, the buttons at the top, the volume.
No, I've got the volume all the way down.
I don't know about Graham, so I ain't never heard of that computer making.
Yeah, I'll put him on mute.
Oh, you got me on mute?
He's going on mute.
Sorry to miss that.
You're a genius, Stram.
Share
with it.
screen. All right, let's see.
Top of Paul's head looks a lot like that beach.
Oh,
Chuck, you get better and better.
Well, then yours must be the same too, Chuck, because your hair is the same as his.
Yeah.
There it is. It was.
he was?
Yeah, I saw it for a second.
Well, you know, we got all these people over here that are missing hair on top of their heads.
What shows on my screen doesn't show up there. I'm gonna stop.
I come from a long line of Hubers with flat hair.
You did have you had it up.
There was a Huber Farms.
No, I didn't.
And,
Where are we here? I don't know, Paul.
Paul's trying to share this.
Here it is.
There you go. There it is.
All right, so this is, nobody has asked, there's been alert enough to ask about this debit by PayPal, but that's okay. It's credited back on May 2nd. Now just somebody explain it. So we got, everything is in black except for our payment to short lots. So we actually ended up the month with more money because we didn't already pay any expenses. We only pay for the meals once a month now, and I've got that check written to give them. Does anybody have any questions about?
But I don't see the credit. I don't see the credit for the raffle. For that short.
Yeah, I didn't put the raffle money in until May. Somewhat related question,
Yeah, I
Paul,
see.
because there was a Venmo transfer that didn't come in, that
Yeah.
three members had some money on there.
Okay.
And I think there was actually some money that came in the previous month, because Burris had given me a check.
All right.
And there was one person gave me some money on April 5th as well, so a little bit of money dribbled in. And Betty Bivens had paid her initiation fee. So,
All right,
you know, I have to be very careful to put the operating fund, money in under the operating fund column, and the contribution fund money under the contribution fund column, and all of our happy dollars go into the contribution fund, for example.
all right.
All of our raffle proceeds, et cetera. But dues and payments for meals go under operating fund, as does initiation fee. So, any questions?
Yes, somewhat related.
What?
Why do you report to Rachel how many members were here each week?
Because otherwise she has no way of knowing. They're not really coming in and doing a count.
Does she really need to know?
Oh, yeah.
How many did
Because
she-
when we have less, 20 or less, we pay for 20. If we have more than 20, we pay for that number. So there's some weeks
So she
we've had
trusts when it's
25.
less?
So far, well, yeah, they
And we
billed me for
pay
what I
and we
had
pay her
told.
less?
Hmm?
We don't pay her less, do we? We only pay when there's more, right?
Right.
So why do you?
We pay $20, we pay for 20 guests at $14 a meal unless we have more than 20 guests, and then we pay whatever
Extra.
that is, times 14.
And that's when
And
you
I've told
tell
her
her.
that every week.
Okay,
I copied you because you've been in on the whole negotiations. and
you
I
can
feel
take
like
me
it's
off
more-
now.
So if you have fewer than
Copy
20,
Jackie.
you're still paying for 20.
Yeah, because. they're-
Oh, yeah, we pay a minimum of 20,
Yeah,
no matter how many are here. And some weeks we've had 16.
That's why we did a coffee house for the same way.
Yeah, no, it's the same deal exactly as the coffee house. So,
yeah. Okay,
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yes, I do. How many people do you have on Venmo? Do you have an average usage or?
I've blessed a handful. I mean, I bet no more than 5 people have used Venmo.
5, a handful?
Probably 5 people.
Fingers chopped off.
Okay.
Cut the
And
thumb.
I don't care whether people use it or not.
No.
It doesn't make it any simpler for me.
Oh, no. I'm
If
just
anything,
looking
it
at
complicates.
things that I-
That's what I was gonna ask you, does that make it harder? Because I can just write a check to.
Yeah.
Well, it guarantees that I get the money right away and it doesn't get lost in the mail. and-
Yeah, I like it.
I do too.
You know, neither one of you does what he has to do to keep up with all these transactions.
He brought it on himself.
And then he can change it if he wants to too.
Absolutely.
So, we don't care if you and you like it.
You,
Now I'm under the bus.
You got a first name of Bill.
yeah. It's the Bill disease.
Are you looking for a disinvitation?
Hey, Jackie, when you get really mad at him, you call him Wilbur.
Yes.
If you don't pay, we can send somebody named Public to you.
Give him that thing.
I'm just
Right, that's-
asking.
If anybody, nobody has any questions, maybe y'all can approve it and get on.
I
it.
make a motion that we approve.
I second.
All right, we got a second.
Hey, I got a question.
Oh, hey, Dave has a question.
Paul, is the payment the final payment to Roberta, was that made in March or April?
It was in March.
March. It was March.
All right, it's not included in this statement then, right?
No.
If
No,
you don't
it's-
mind,
you can always-
what was that, what was the amount of that payment?
Every monthly statement. All the financial information has now been put under board of directors by somebody. I don't know, I didn't do it.
All right, thank you.
Okay, all those in favor of the financial report?
Aye.
Okay,
David says aye.
all right. The monthly, I mean, the year-to-date, I looked at very carefully and sent out the entire report. I mean, there's no way to put it all up on one screen. I can put it up if you want. Let's see, stop share. screen.
While Paul's doing that, let me bring up something real quick and get any feedback. I'm certain many of you are seeing the news and the baby formula shortages
Yeah.
going on. Trying to think of some way we could help as Rotarians, and maybe we get some feedback from the doctors in the group to see if there's something we can do in this area to assure that we don't have an issue with babies, infants with that formula. What do people think about that? I mean, Paul, you're a doctor, but get some feedback from Betty and
Yeah,
and Mark as well.
I don't know. I mean,
Okay.
I took care of children. Betty probably didn't need it, but she was in her.
Yeah.
Um,
I know there's a lot of different formulas out there. And babies.
I've got a whole box of formula in my garage. I've been trying to give away.
Formula.
Yeah, do we have somebody we can give it to?
I don't know if there's an organization.
I don't know who to give it
Well,
to.
what they have.
Well, social
suggested on
services.
TV is that you contact your doctor
Yeah,
to see
right.
what substitutes you can use, and babies might have some problems and
Yeah,
doctors.
what they
would
use
recommend
before they
something
even
have
related
formula.
to-
Yeah, go back to the tip.
Right, I don't know if there's an organization.
But mothers are working.
There are a lot of
Something
people,
we
there are a
can
lot of
work
people that
with
adopt.
To not buy formula, but give them the
Yeah.
funds to get formula, to get to mothers that are running dry, they can't find it.
Well, don't they have an organization in Accomack County specifically for women with babies?
We got the Roberta.
Yeah, yeah,
Newman
yeah.
Thing with the.
Smart beginnings.
Smart beginnings.
But they are anti-formula whenever I talk to
Oh,
them.
really?
That's crazy.
Well, that was back, it's best to breastfeed.
Yeah. right.
But we could talk to, I'll give Linda Schultz a call.
Okay,
I
I'm
know
gonna bring
Roberta.
it up in the meeting too, to see if.
Yeah.
anybody-
Somebody might know something.
Okay, if I can talk about the summary, fiscal year to date. I've got all the numbers for every month in this, going back to the start of the fiscal year, July 21. And then I've entered the April numbers, and then the totals for the year thus far are here. So we've got the operations income, the charitable income, operations expenses, and the charitable expenses. And what I'd like to focus on is, it's all there for you to look at. Everybody has a copy of this. But I'd like to focus on the charitable expenses, because I'd like to look at the things that we haven't paid so far, and decide which ones we should pay and which ones we perhaps shouldn't. And I've got copies of these too.
The dictionary for third graders isn't going to happen.
No, I talked to Tom. I asked him specifically that.
Thank you.
It would be helpful if you put numbers on the pages.
Oh, God, you better shut up.
It's a good suggestion, thank you.
Until you're married.
All right, so, so far, look at the bottom right. So the charitable fund balance at the end of April is $12,224, which was on my report. This includes some, $1,000 approximately from art raffle. This all was already collected and it's in that number, but the total income expected from art raffle is $65.90 now.
Wow.
So that is better than I had expected it to be. Now I took the $1,000 away from the end of April charitable fund balance, but and then added back the total $65.90 to get the sort of the corrected end of April balance, which would include all the raffle income. If you look at everything that I've highlighted in yellow, plus the things that are automatic up there, really, like whatever gets given to the club by members goes straight to the Rotary Foundation. And Polio Plus You know, we're just going to send them what we budgeted, which is another $1,100. That's not really up for discussion. But so we've got another $7,000 going out. And then we committed, I think, to buying a bench at Strawberry Plaza. The club, but actually.
I don't remember that.
Board, I don't remember the board. voted.
Good idea, though.
We did, which would be another $695. So that would leave $10,074 in the end of fiscal year charitable fund balance. And let's see, going back down to that here. And the budget, what our budget called for is ending the fiscal year with $11,119. That was pretty arbitrary. We started the year with over $13,000, but we had planned to spend some of that down. So the question is, this assumes that we make all the payments that are highlighted in yellow. All right. Now, we're not going to have the $240 in dictionaries. That's not going to be spent this year. New Roots Youth Garden, we budgeted $500. New Roots Youth Garden, I think Bill will back me up on this, is in pretty good shape financially. They don't really need the money that much right now. They, at some point, might for a greenhouse or something like that.
Well, yeah, and that's what they want to do. I mean, you
Yeah.
could drop the amount there.
Right, but I'm thinking, 250 would probably be adequate.
Yeah.
But, so that gives us another 500 right there. And we can pay everything else as is. Although also budgeted $1,000 for the Invisible History Project. Can't see the whole thing. The expenses of Invisible History is at the bottom of other charitable gifts. And we've only spent a little less than 100 because of a Vimeo subscription, which gives us the videos. And I sent Betty an email saying, okay, are we going to need that money? And she said, well, it'd be nice to take all the new advisory board out for a meal or something, which I don't know.
No.
That was put in the budget initially before the grant.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, in case
The grant,
they
I mean,
needed
the
it,
grant
because they thought they were
before
gonna have expenses, but now we got a grant of $9,800.
I think we gotta look at
Yeah, don't.
So
what's the way to do
So I think we've got found money there too, frankly.
What about shore
Who'd
buds?
she get the grant from?
We've already given $500.
Virginia Humanities.
She's got to show receipts for that money, I'm sure.
Well, that's right. She's got to account for that.
Yeah.
You can't take people out for meals for that.
Oh, no.
That's.
We aren't gonna do
Well,
that.
we will have, I think we are going to have some expenses related to the website. Because that
You
wasn't
haven't asked for a
covered.
reimbursement yet
No, I
for some
haven't.
stuff.
Yeah, that's right,
You need to do
because I
that
wanted it to
you
be
need to do that
used,
soon.
right, so we need to leave a little in there,
Right.
If you left 500, I think.
That should be fine. Yeah.
would be okay.
Yeah, so I mean, we've got, basically, we can find $500, another $1,000 here. But, the board needs to decide how low do we want that balance to get? Are they comfortable with getting it down to $10,000?
Yeah, that's a lot of
If
money.
so.
What about shore bots? You haven't addressed
We've
that.
already given them $500.
Oh, okay, that's why it's not,
Yeah.
okay.
And then we could go ahead and pay everything else that I've highlighted in yellow. And we could, and then John Burtis had sent a thing around a week or so ago saying it'd be nice to support the high school on their field trip. Where is it?
Yeah, trip to Washington.
Senior field trip.
Yeah. And I supported that.
Yeah.
That's whether we might support the Northampton High School senior class trip. And I discouraged it because I didn't think we were going to collect that much from our raffle, but this is coming out better than I thought. And $500 has been floated around as a possible contribution to them. But I mean, this is up for discussion as to what should we spend the rest of our money on.
Okay, well,
Over 1,000 or getting into the 10,000? Over 10, getting into
Just
the,
this list.
Just consider the things on the list plus the Burtis
Okay, a couple
proposal.
of questions.
Yeah.
At the bottom of the yellow column, expenses of the INV is what?
yeah, the last one, what is that? It's covered.
Visible history project.
Okay.
Oh, okay. And what is contribution to SMART?
Smart Beginnings
Beginnings.
for sure.
Smart Beginnings? What is
Yeah.
Smart Beginnings?
Rachel?
hey, sure, hey, you own the place, you don't have to.
Yeah. Pretend you own it. Okay, make yourself at home.
If you put that stuff down, I got some for you.
Oh, we just need to make it so that we can see the entire, verbiage.
But yeah,
It's okay.
if you look at it when he contributes, you can
Smart,
see it's
smart.
all there. It just has to download.
So-
Okay, it's there.
Not on this printout.
One of the things
Oh,
I would
Look
like
at
to
it
hold
before the meeting.
something
it's all
open
there.
for what I just mentioned before, the possibility of assisting people who can't get baby formula in some way,
Hmm,
if we can assist.
okay.
Well, but you don't know how much you're gonna need. So, I mean, come back, there's gonna be money. Let's just go through this list and see what we think of each of the one. For instance, February freeze, is that
Yeah,
still
that's
on?
Habitat for Humanity. Well, we've already had the event.
Oh, I see.
And then that's-
We need money to have
And that's
it.
Dave Dowdy,
Right.
we want to take care of Dave.
But I think we ought to give that. We
Yeah.
budgeted it.
That's good.
Historical Society, well, let's just start at the top. River Issue Starting, we already talked about reducing that to 250. Eastern Shore Coalition Against Domestic Violence, we usually give them 250. I think we should. The dictionaries are not gonna have that expense. We'll spend the money to pick school, to
Yeah.
pick school.
It's down to like.
Yeah, we've already spent a little more in, May.
We got a student of the year. That's gonna just
Shore
about-
soccer, we committed $500 a year. We need to go ahead and spend that.
Yep.
If there's a number on the left, but not a number on the right, that means we already spent it, okay? So, for example, the Boys and Girls Club going under, the charitable gifts, $1,000 is on the left. It's not on the right because we already contributed it. So, Cape Charles Main Street, we usually donate $300, and we haven't this year. I think we should.
Well, but if we do, it's gonna go into that bench. I mean,
Well,
Yeah, why don't we
You can do
put
that.
something with
You
it
can
and
do
do the
that. I
bench?
mean, that's
just make the
fair.
whole,
Make the,
well,
if
that's
you're gonna,
another found $300.
so, you know, that,
But you need to do the bench.
you know,
for
you're getting,
advertising.
for the 625, you're getting an already purchased bench.
Right.
Okay,
So it's okay that we don't give the 300 additional.
that's fine.
Okay, fine. So that's not $300 we found. 250 to Federal, to Habitat for Humanity, 200 to Historical Society, which is sort of a standard membership. Chamber of Commerce, we need to go ahead and
Mhm.
No,
pay our fee, rejoin.
wait, you know, there's, the chamber, the Northampton Chamber of Commerce no longer exists.
Yes,
Yeah,
but
we're talking-
we're members of the other one now.
Yeah.
Eastern Shore Chamber of Commerce.
Right,
Yeah.
Okay.
we're automatically
All right.
members of the other one.
Okay,
Yeah,
So, Smart Beginnings, 500, I can probably go ahead and do that. Visible History Project, we already talked about
we'll cut to 500.
not spending that, but yes,
Yeah,
but holding some
yeah,
Yeah.
just reduce it for our purposes today.
for our consideration.
Cut it to
So
500.
we've got, you know, I found $1,000 here.
Good.
And so how much do we want to give to the senior trip?
at least 500.
He's asking for 500. I'd like to do the 500.
Okay, is there anything, then we're gonna reserve some money for formula.
Yeah.
Do we need a vote?
Well, I'm just gonna propose that we spend the money that I've just outlined.
Don't do it again.
We'll try to keep it simple.
Thanks a lot, Paul.
Okay.
You and I can write it together.
Well, right, but the hits, but
If you
this,
write it, I'll add it to the minutes.
that's fine, but we should have a vote on the trip, underwriting the
Yes,
trip.
set the
That's
vote on
new.
that, right.
And
I make a
probably
motion, we
if we-
include $500 for the high school field trip.
All right,
Second.
those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Okay, it's unanimous.
Okay, I think that finishes that.
wait a minute, so what was the bench? Do we need to vote on the bench?
I think we already
already
voted.
did.
I think
We
it's in
did
the
already.
minutes
Yeah,
months
Okay.
ago.
All right, then, that's fine.
yeah, Reggie.
So we're good, and we're gonna stay over the $10,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll keep the balance over 10,000.
Yeah, there you go. That's all I was concerned about.
It's artificial, but it's kind of a good thing.
Yeah, no, it
So,
is.
Yeah, right. And we're gonna hope that we're gonna bring on a lot of money, right, making crab cakes again
Yeah,
in July.
Really? We hadn't
Yes, it
discussed
is.
that.
Oh, Burtis is on it. Burtis and Jim Rich are on it.
How are they on it?
They're,
We're working on it.
We've definitely looked at the proposal.
Have
And
you-
we're on our way. to
Has
having a
anybody done an
committee.
inventory? Has anybody checked the price of crab meat? Inventory of supplies,
Burtis and Jim Rich.
availability of the firehouse? Who's done all that?
well, they're on it, so
They're on it.
they're going fast.
Got a month.
Next week they're going
And
fast.
I'm definitely able to say he's on it and point to Burtis.
Yeah,
Curtis
he-
doesn't
he
even
needs
show
to be
up.
on something besides-
Burtis just shows up at the last minute with his wrapping
I think
paper.
it would be more beneficial if we had the lines in this report, because there's so much information on one page.
Lines for us.
Yeah, the grid
Grid.
lines, the
Okay.
grid lines.
Right.
It helps me,
Okay.
and even if you don't change it, I'll change it when I get in.
Fantastic.
Okay.
You
I
can
think
be the
we
new treasurer.
finished this section.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, go
He's
ahead.
coming here.
All we need is a secretary.
Yeah,
But we have,
well, Randy and I had a little bit of a talk on that,
On what?
a
Oh.
secretary,
Yeah.
yeah.
And he's going another year?
No.
Ah!
Have you heard from Dolores?
I haven't finished, I got homework I have to do to convince her.
Did
So-
you give her a copy of the bylaws?
We didn't have the 10 o'clock meeting.
Yeah.
No,
That's
that
that's
doesn't sound
maybe
like
next
a
week.
solid-
but I-
All right, real
Whoa,
quick.
whoa, 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 this is not a committee.
Real quickly, Randy and I had a discussion about the lawyer possibly taking the position. And right now, according to Randy, her kind of hesitancy has to do with what Randy does on the financial side.
Let me clarify.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's not her verbal objection to it. I know there's concern just based on going through it with her and explaining it to her. There's concern that the secretarial position is confused with the treasurer's position. And it's been confused that way for a long time.
It's a wonderful.
I resolved this with Mr. Rich a couple of days ago, and I said.
No, it's not resolved. This group
I-
resolves it.
I'm telling you all how to do your business, since y'all can't seem to figure out how to separate secretarial and treasurer responsibilities, or won't take the time. But what you do in terms of the quarterly, the reports for the members, their expenses, that's not a secretarial function.
I agree.
That's a treasurer function, and I said to Rich, I will do that because it falls under treasurer responsibility. So that takes it off of the Lord.
No,
She will not have to do it. I said I would do it.
Right, I agree.
this for the coming year.
Whenever I get on board, you know,
So
I
you'll
don't,
send out the bills and.
as soon as I talk to Randy and figure out what, he tells me what he does and how he does it, and I put a process in place to make it happen.
And that was the thing I brought up in the email I sent out about 5 or 6 weeks ago that said, this is the issue as far as following the, what's the
Bylaws.
the bylaws. The bylaws separates that, and what Paul is doing as far as like the newsletter, that's actually the secretaries.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
those things need to be reversed, and you're talking about you will take over the financial and that.
You know, the treasurer's responsibilities are not outlined in detail, but
No, they're not.
it's a general responsibility for the finances of the organization and sending out bills.
This goes all the way back to when I first joined the club. Mike, what was his name?
Lucier.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Lucier sent out the, he sent out the bills.
Yeah.
He did all that work. And Norma Spencer just did the bookkeeping basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we get that corrected, if we do make that happen, maybe things will go a little bit better with Dolores, but you're talking with her director too, right? So you're getting feedback from her, from trying to.
No, everything that's been said is absolutely on the mark. And I would only add that this sort of blurring of roles is just a wonderfully typical Rotary kind of thing. And it's what makes Rotary clubs very nimble when they address problems, because there's this give and take. Who does what?
So I think your idea to have a meeting with, the five of us, maybe, Dolores and Randy and Jack and you and
Just to formalize it.
and y'all can sort out how you want it, as far as I'm concerned, it's between you and Dolores has split up.
All right.
When we do get,
For this coming year, when we sort of do it together, I'm very flexible. I'll do it however the group wants to do it.
When we do get that straight, I think it would be a good idea, along with a few other things we need to tighten up, would be to associate it in the bylaws going forward.
Well, I don't think we need to be too explicit in the bylaws, and I don't think the bylaws are very explicit.
No, they are as explicit as they're gonna be, and this is okay what's in here, because you can no way list all of the things that are treasurer
Right,
and the
exactly, and know what you want to.
Right.
And there's also handbooks available from Rotary that give you their version of what's, but they're not ironclad, you can do anything you want.
And the bottom line is, all of these things are essentially responsibilities assigned to, the people in these roles.
Right.
And it's perfectly fine in many of those cases to delegate any of those duties.
Sure.
And if the secretary delegate, in this case, the secretary delegated to the treasurer, the treasurer delegated to the secretary.
It's not, no, the board would have to do the delegation, they can't do it individually.
So anyway, no decisions need to be made on that today. Can I just go on? I wanted to bring up gifts to Rotary speakers because Chuck had asked me to order more pins.
I would like this tape, if it's okay. I don't mean to cut you off, but
We're about out of pins.
that's okay. Well, and maybe I will know more. What I was thinking of doing, and I spoke to Rose Ruland, who is going to be the speaker today, was to make a donation to the Literacy Council to buy books. And in each of those books, to put a little nameplate to, this book dedicated to the service rendered by, in the name of our speaker. And, to the Rotary Club of whatever. And then we would be giving people not a pen, but we'd be giving them the good feeling of having donated,
To their organization.
to the Literacy Council. So I spoke to Rose about, I don't know how it's gonna work out. I spoke to Rose a couple of months ago, and I never heard that.
Rose is here, by the way.
Oh, really? Well, welcome. I'm delighted. So
We're
anyway.
Terry and sitting here listening to this, it's like they.
So anyway, we will say, Rose. All right, I'll tell you what, this isn't that kind of meeting. Let Rose and I talk about this, and I'll come back with a proposal.
Okay.
And if,
So you just leave it.
the pens are cheap, right?
$3.
They look at you.
What's cheaper even are the four-way test cards. Yeah, I meant to bring them today.
I'd rather, you know something, if we're not, our fallback is, that we're gonna buy some Rotary note cards, we're gonna give them out to the members of the speakers committee, and we're gonna require them to hand write a thank you note to the speaker after they're done, after they've spoken, and if they don't, I will. So note cards are a fallback.
Okay.
How much does coffee cost, Paul? Do you remember? $4 too.
I'm sorry, 6.
Six.
All right, so it's twice as much. So then-
Let's see, I have that.
Does his Rotary sweater count as wearing his Rotary pants?
Yeah, because the wheel is right there on the,
Look,
Oh,
I
really?
see it, that's why I
Oh,
wanted
good.
to know.
Yeah.
The pins are $4 each, and the mugs are $6 each.
All right, let,
And the pins we have to, I don't know what they're gonna look like. You have to order from this company that we've never used before.
the pens are in the budget, right?
Well, yeah, for this year, I mean, we could order a few pins to get us through the rest of the year.
I mean, Rose and I
Should I order a few pins?
Give me to the end of the day.
Let's do that, stick with the pins to the end of this year. and
Well,
then-
pins are easy.
Yeah.
There you go.
Mugs
Yeah,
are
that's
more
right. It's your
bulky,
year.
they're
You get to
broken,
call,
yeah.
you make
And
the
then
call
Jeff
on
can
that.
decide he wants to do it.
Alright,
Yeah, pens are fine. I think. we
I'll
have
order a
like
few pins.
2 or 3 left. Here, here's my pen.
You know,
The pin or I ordered a bunch of extra pins.
Somebody said they're gonna do it.
Sit down, Jim.
All right, next, and several of these things are tabled.
I didn't mean to come early and crash the meeting, but I'm here.
Bill, talk about the bell.
Yes, yes, listen up, guys and ladies. Paul is going to order a bell. And we found a pretty cheap bell, right? For about 25 bucks.
You found it.
I thought you had
Well,
a bell.
I'll give you credit, Paul.
Didn't I see an email saying you had a bell?
He said he was gonna buy it.
But we have
I
a
took her
bill,
out
we're not
once.
giving it away
You could look.
at home. I know, I hope you're not. talking about-
No, Paul's buying a real 6x6 bell.
First I looked to order a bell and it was like 400 bucks.
That's
for my
crazy.
Southampton.
So we found one for
Nice bell.
25 bucks. And then it's a matter of mounting the bell.
Mounting the bill.
Mounting the bell, yeah.
Yeah,
Bell,
would.
the bell has a little thing you can mount it to a wall, or you can mount it to a bell holder. And I propose that you let me paint it, or,
Could you have a handbell and just?
no,
shake
no,
the
no.
bell?
This, show her the bell.
It's a gong.
Why are you looking at me like that?
Anyway, Paul thinks this is ugly, but I think if we
Yeah.
If
anybody
we
think that's
painted
pretty?
it as gold and mounted it on wood,
That could be a chair for a small person.
That you buy the bell for 25 bucks and figure out how to best mount it and show us. when it's all
yes,
done.
I second
I'll make
that.
a motion for that.
Yeah,
I'll second.
So moved.
I'm in,
I don't
All right.
know.
All right.
okay.
So
So,
buy the bell?
Oh, you want me to buy the bell?
I don't care.
Yeah, I'll buy the bell.
And I'll
You get
reimburse it.
reimbursed?
Fine.
Yeah,
Okay, done. Motion was made.
but Phil, this is sturdy.
Yeah.
That's worthy of,
Yeah.
I was on his knee. He had a knee plate. That's why he walks instead of running.
And traditionally, if somebody comes in without a rotary pin on, we charge them a fine of a buck.
Well, all you have to do is, let's go back to our original thing, because you got a couple of other things in there too. Like it's like the 50-50 and all that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes.
go.
Well,
You
they're
have to
separate
take a
issues,
vote on
but,
that?
well, a consensus is the all we need. We always charge $1 a pin to sign for not wearing your pin.
Yeah, we need to make, we need to announce that to the members.
Yeah, we need to announce it first. And, yeah, I don't have mine.
But Fox wasn't out.
But once I get fined $1 a couple of times, I'll
We had one over here.
okay, so that's passed, right?
Yeah.
So that's,
The bell, what passed? The bell? The bell
No,
passed.
pins, not
I didn't
fine.
make a motion.
Okay, I'll make a motion, we find, we reinstitute the fine of $1 for not wearing a pin.
I'll second that.
And the people, yeah, unfortunately, at the desk, that's gonna be another job that's gonna have to do.
All right, it's approved. I never remember disapproving it.
Just
So it's always been there, so
No, we'll go ahead and do it.
I know.
We need to announce it though first, the membership today.
Yes, and probably give 2 or 3 weeks
yeah,
Yeah.
before we
Have a
start.
warning first.
oh, yeah, at least
You
a
don't have
month.
to tell them, but just don't implement it first.
Yeah.
That's the side of the wrongs.
I would like. We voted already.
I think we should remind
The fine should be
everybody for
paid
2 or 3 weeks.
on site,
Right, of course.
not added to
No.
the.
Right.
Cash money.
Yeah. Either bring your dollar or
Or your
bring your
check.
pin.
Well, that'll be Jackie's problem before long.
That's what I'm saying, I'm trying to avoid that, that's why I need to be paid on site. Please don't worry about it. although it would go in the minutes probably.
Yes,
So-
they used to go in the minutes, it was fine.
So can we just say, by consensus, we're gonna reinstitute the fine, and you're gonna announce it today, and, just between us, there'll be a warning the first week or so.
No, I think we should be open about it and remind everybody for 2 or 3 weeks that it starts.
I think that's what he meant, to just, announce.
But no,
it.
he said among the board.
Yeah, we're gonna start the fine, but then be lenient first week.
I think everybody
We're
should
gonna
know.
start.
It should be in the newsletter.
Yeah,
Pick a week.
we should
Give them
publish
3
it.
weeks or something. Give them 2 weeks.
Bill's right. We should announce it everywhere when you do the announcement of the meeting. Chuck, you
Yeah.
put it there, you put it in the newsletter.
Nobody reads the newsletter.
I do.
I do.
I think there are a lot of people do, I do.
Bill Murphy reads it.
The three
I can vouch
bills
for that, because he calls me up about it. I made a mistake in the last newsletter.
I was so thrilled to find that. I made my.
Okay, I will.
I have to go open the letter
I
up
will
and see
make
what
the
mistake
announcement.
was.
Now I need the agreement of by which date, what date do we kick in the fines? So I need that agreement.
June 1.
June 1. Everybody agree on that?
On site, sorry, I'm adding that to the motion.
Okay, let's.
All right, so there's a motion. Do I get a
Who
second?
made
It was approved.
Randy.
You
Oh, well, that's an amendment.
made a motion, Murphy seconded that we institute a $1 fine on site. That motion was made and passed.
All right.
Okay.
By June.
So now we're gonna start that.
Now we're talking about the presidential prerogative for how to
Yeah.
institute it.
June 1.
And for the benefit of the new members, you might say this is something we always did.
Well,
pre-COVID,
all
we
the
just
new members,
reinstituted it.
that was all part of their
Oh, was it?
fireside
Okay.
chat.
Huh?
We went through all the fines.
I only told them it'd be fine.
Went to the
Okay.
point.
Okay, let's see, okay, now, the bookkeeping. Randy and I have complained to each other, for collecting dues and stuff has gotten significantly more complicated than it used to be. And a big part of it is because more and more members aren't paying their dues on time. And so, and then when they don't pay the dues this quarter, then that gets carried over to the next quarter, and it makes the accounting of it, for both Randy and me, difficult. And there's really no excuse for it. I mean, if somebody gets a bill the first month of the quarter, they ought to pay that bill by the end of the second month of the quarter. And if they don't, they ought to get a follow-up email. I'm not sure if you sent those or not. We always have. We always have in the past.
This quarter, and there's a reason for that.
Oh,
But
okay.
continue on. No,
And-
the reason is most people seem to fall into the habit of doing their bookkeeping at the end of the one. And it's kind of, but there are a few who are perpetually, it's just overdue, it's just ongoing overdue, and they will get poked after this meeting. I thought I'll wait till after the May meeting, but what I usually did was by the end of the second month, I would send out those post emails reminding people that it's overdue. Although the invoice says it's due upon receipt. So, there you go. But yeah, that's where we are. But we do have that problem, and it makes it difficult, and especially if they come in after the quarter, because another invoice is about to go out, and it gets sloppy.
It gets messy.
It gets sloppy.
So I think there ought to be a requirement that you pay your dues by the end of the quarter, at least, if they do. And if you don't, there should be a penalty. And
I'm all for the penalty because well, I'm not gonna deal with, I'm not ask Jackie, but it's just one more thing to add to the billing cycle.
that's
I
true.
mean, we're all adults. We're committed to belong to the Rotary Club. We ought to be able to pay the damn dues. Excuse my French.
You know, I think the answer is,
And, but
you know, pick up the phone and call
Don't make it-
people
don't
when
make it
they're late.
$5, make it $50
No,
and then it'll be effective.
no, then you'll have trouble collecting the $50. I think what we should do is, and there are only 3 or 4 that fall in this category. Just pick up the phone and say, look, pay your dues, because people don't read their emails. But it's hard to say no on the phone.
Well, that's your style, Bill, but that might not be the style of the current secretary or treasurer.
I thought he volunteered.
Currently have a policy, it seems like I recall something that if you don't pay dues for so many consecutive.
Oh, yeah, you
quarters,
get
because we
dismissed
did
from the
that.
club.
Yeah, actually, I think it says if you're 30 days in the rear, you're subject to.
I think that's in the
That's in
Constitution.
the Constitution.
Yeah, and that's not even, that, we didn't like that. Rotary
But
National.
it's there.
All right, we need to bring.
We just need to.
So
We do.
we can,
We just need to reemphasize
Yeah.
the fact.
But we-
You know.
this can be an ongoing discussion. We
Why
can.
don't you make an announcement today and just urge people, tell them it's becoming an issue.
Probably, I'm not sure, probably the people you really want to reach are not the ones who come. here.
Exactly.
You know, so-
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, there are folks that are paying at the end of the cycle, but are paying, you know,
How far behind is Kelvin Jones?
Oh,
further than you want to know.
several quarters.
Bobby Master.
You want to talk to him?
I'll call him.
No,
I'll
no,
call
That's
him.
what's caught up.
No,
That's enough.
they pay annually now.
Kelvin is, right now, his balance due just for $515.
I'll call him.
We should be talking about individuals. Well, it's not, because we're running late, guys.
All right, anything else?
Well, we ought to, maybe Jim would want to start you might even know it the way we used to do it, because you can raffle in.
Oh, I think that's a great idea, and we'll definitely be doing that.
You could just reinstitute that yourself, without a vote. And then I brought up the speakers for political office. My daughter is a lobbyist. And she has made contact with, what's the name of our. Yeah. And it's put them in contact with me, and and I said, well, you know, that's fine, you know. And I asked the assistant if she would want to come and speak to Rotary. Oh, yeah, I would love to do that. But we're getting close, we're probably in campaign season.
We are.
And if she came, you know, we need to probably invite her opponent too.
Once she's, they haven't had their primary yet.
I'm just going through.
I think, you know, we can avoid it by not having anybody.
Stay away.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, even we had Katie come in and get the state of the county, you know, things like that, but anyone who's
National,
in
no.
an election cycle or
Yeah.
that potentially might be up,
Yeah, well, what is
it's
it?
hard, and everybody has different political opinions.
Yeah.
No.
We've had elected representatives coming.
We had-
Local,
we had-
local ones.
Local, yeah.
Well, she's
and-
local.
and that was-
No, she's national. She's in Congress.
Oh, okay.
I,
She's a local
I
representative.
just kind of,
Stay away from that.
Yeah.
I
It's
think
Stay away
not
from-
covered in your
I think
bylaws,
it's a
and if it's
minefield.
not, you gotta amend the bylaws to
Well-
include it if you decide. to.
We've always been apolitical.
What, are we a 501c3?
No,
Well, 501c4, actually.
Well, but it's a 501. 501. And I think that's the nonprofits, and all nonprofits are supposed to be non-political.
yeah.
That's part
And
of,
and
that's part of
Rotary
their
is
charter. That's
apolitical.
part of their charter. So,
You're right.
Thank
Okay,
you.
I would like to wrap this up.
thank you, man.
See, already it's heated.
So, no invitation, at least not.
No invitation.
That would be my.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'd love to hear it, but I don't.
Well, I've spent the whole day with her yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was an individual thing.
I move for adjournment.
All right.
Second.
Move.
Okay, I'm stopping the meeting.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, but-
Because you're an expert on this now. My sister.
Will you stop the,
Coming up for a major this year. That's what she said she has.
The more things change, the more they stay the
Well, she
same.
has that stuff. And I was reading the paper about
It doesn't change. The same discussions are in every club. It doesn't. A lot of them are down and the same discussions.
hey, Bob, we're gonna stop the,
They said quite often
the recording now.
painful and less invasive.